this. And the Bible tells us that Job still didn't sin with his mouth. My brothers and sisters, I stand before you this morning to inform you that Job knew something about God that we would do well to understand. Job understood the fact that God was in control. In chapter 1, Job said God gave and then God hath taken away, but yet he's still worthy to be praised. In chapter 2, Job came to the conclusion that God gives good and then sometimes God gives evil, and regardless of what God is doing, you still got to trust in God. And that's what we see in Job's actions. Job did not curse God. He didn't turn away from God, but he held on to God's unchanging hand. Job knew something about God that he could depend on. Job knew that God was too just to be wrong. Job knew that God was too good to be bad. Job knew that God was too loving to be hateful. Job knew that God was too caring to be unconcerned. Job knew that God was too benevolent to be selfish. Job knew that God was too wise to be ignorant. Job knew that God was too strong to be weak. Job knew that God was too timely to be late. Job knew that God was too accurate to miss the mark. Job knew that God was too quick to be slow and too powerful to be powerless. Job knew that God was too straight to be crooked. Job knew that God was too true to be false. Job knew that God was too genuine to be an imposter. Job knew that God was too merciful to be merciless. Job knew that God was too gracious to be rigid. Job knew that God was too patient to be anxious. Job knew that God was too sweet to be bitter, that he was too enjoyable to be a bore, that he was too happy to be sad, and too full of joy to be mad. Job understood some things about God that caused him to hold on to God no matter what was going on in his life. And so since Job knew that he could trust in God, Job wanted to show God that he could trust in him. And so that's why Job said, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. Lord, not only am I trusting in you, but I want you to know that you can trust in me. I want you to know that the camel ain't worth my relationship with you. I want you to know that the sheep and the oxen ain't worth my relationship with you. I want you to know that the she-asses and all of those servants I had ain't worth my relationship with you. I want you to know that the failure of my health ain't worth my relationship with you. I want you to know that the taking of my children ain't worth my relationship with you, which is why I came to the conclusion that you're the one who gives it to me in the first place, and you got a right to take it back. Job said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and when I leave this earth, I'm gonna leave like I came. I came here with nothing, and I'm gonna leave here the same way. So in between my coming and my leaving, I'm gonna make sure I keep my hand in God's hand. In between my coming and my leaving, I'm gonna make sure that God knows he can trust in me the way I trust in him. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. I'm gonna keep my hand in God's hand. He can take my health, he can take my family, he can take my possessions, he can take my job, and with the last breath I have before I depart from this earth, I'll say, for God I've lived works for God our time. That's how you let God know he can trust you with tragedy. You have to let him know that. It's all about him. All about him. All about him. Now some of us are like King Saul.
All right.
You were here for Sunday school this morning. You know that Saul was in denial concerning his disobedience. He greeted Samuel saying, I have done the thing that the Lord hath told me to do. Samuel said, well, what meaneth this? The bleating of the sheep in my ear. Why all this here bang going on? And what about the lowering of the oxen? Why I hear all this If you done what God said do, I shouldn't hear none of that. See, some of us are in denial. Even after that, Saul said, but I have done it. The people saying that stuff. Aren't you the leader of the people?
All right.
Don't you have control over what they don't blame your shortcomings on somebody else.
That's right, sir.
That's when you're in denial about your own disobedience. Don't you know God can't use you like that?
No, he can't.
God can't trust you with tragedy. It don't mean that tragedy ain't coming.
That's right.
It just know he can't trust you with it. So you already know you're going to break out. Already know. And some of us ain't got to have nothing tragic.
That's right.
Just let the car don't start.
Oh, no.
Shut your... Yes, let the car don't stop. Let me turn it in and say, what? Instead of us saying, Lord, help me, you go to cursing the car out and banging on the steering wheel and popping the dashboard and you follow me? Yeah, let the car don't stop. Thank God to let us down. You got no money, we get no car fixed. Maybe if you would have used that car toward the glory of God, God would have made a way. If it did leave you stranded, he'll make a way for you to get it back on the road.
Right, sir.
And see, with God, you don't need no money. God got money. Amen. God he owns the cattle of 1,000 hills.
He does, sir.
So he owns the cattle on the hills. I know the trees that the cattle eating from belong to him too. They make the money out of the trees. Amen and amen. God got money. Got more money than you can ever work for.
That's real talk.
I don't depend on no money. I depend on God.
Amen.
My car cut off. I said, all right, Lord. I need to get there. We turn it on back on and we move on. Amen. I drive them old regular FedEx trucks. Sometimes they stall. I had one, that sounded like something was falling from up under the bottom of it. I said, Lord, I got to get back to the house now. If it falls, don't let it fall right now. Trust in God.
All right, sir.
Because I know he's going to make a way. He's going to make a way. So the thing is, will I hold on to him and show him that I'm holding on to him? See, because trouble is coming.
It's coming, sir.
Tragedy is coming. And the thing is, what will you do when tragedy comes? Can God trust you with tragedy? Can God look at you, recommend you for the test?
Right.
Can he look Satan in the face and say, have you considered my servant? Ain't none like him on the narrow lane. Perfect. Upright. One that fears me. Turns away from evil. Y'all see that? Which one of y'all think God is recommending for the test? Because the reality is the test of our faith produces patience.
Amen.
And if you prayed for patience, get ready for your test. Don't tell the Lord I need patience, I need it right now. You ain't willing to wait on the Lord to give you no patience. No, you ain't patient. You can't be patient waiting on the patience. Amen. Amen. But that's